Yeah, and I wanted to ask, did you have a strong interest in smell before you became anosmic, or was your life really shaped after you had this experience of becoming anosmic and then having your podcast dedicated to smell?
Yeah, good question. Absolutely not. I had no interest in my sense of smell. I didn't pay attention to it. I very much took it for granted, as many people do, because it's just something that's there, right? It's just there. You can smell, of course. So not having a sense of smell has absolutely shaped my entire life. But I did not pay attention or focus on it at all.
And so this has really shaped your life and your career as well.
Yeah,
This
so becoming someone without a sense of smell has definitely shaped who I've become and what I've chosen to do for my career. So for a long time when I first became anosmic, it was like too painful for me to like focus on and deal with. So I really didn't, which is you'll think amazing. Like how do you not pay attention to this big loss in your life? But denial is powerful. So for a couple of years, like I just didn't really focus on it. Like I had anxiety, I had depression, but I wasn't like, oh, this is because I don't have a sense of smell. I think I was just like, I just such hard denial about why I was feeling that way. And
Mhm.
so after I honestly 9 years, almost a decade later, in 2018, my husband and I moved from Idaho to New Jersey. I'm originally from Idaho, and we moved there for a job opportunity for my husband. And I didn't have a job for the first time in my like adult career life. And I was looking for jobs in New Jersey and doing a lot of interviews and stuff. But there was like 3 or 4 months where I just had a lot of extra time on my hands and I'm not good at being bored. So I decided for some reason that it was time to explore more of my own anosmia story and like start to unpack that. What I always say is that I put the anosmia in like a little box and then I like wrapped it up really tight with like a really strong bow. And then I like put it on the back of a shelf inside my brain to be taken out at another day when I was like ready to look at it. So when we got to New Jersey and I had time on my hands, I started to like take it down and like unwrap the bow a little bit, like peek inside and see what was going on with it and how I felt about it, which was actually really interesting because I had delayed having a lot of feelings about my anosmia for such a long time, almost a decade, that it was very therapeutic to start the podcast and start exploring what anosmia meant to me. And also at the same time to start getting connected with other people who had smell and taste dysfunction and hear from them. So that's part of why I started the podcast is because I really wanted to have a resource for people that would have been vital for me when I first became anosmic. It was so isolating. I felt like the only human on the earth who had this thing. And so I wanted to make sure that everyone else who was experiencing this knew that it wasn't alone. So I started the podcast, and that led me to being connected with other like patients who have the condition and then other interested parties like researchers and clinicians. And through all of that and networking with these people, I was able to attend a conference in 2018 hosted by Monell. It was the Identifying Treatments for Taste and Smell Disorders conference and get connected with other patients in person. That was the first time I'd met anyone else in person who had anosmia. And through that conference and through conversations and networking, the idea and the need for a patient advocacy group in the United States was brought forth. And so the idea of the creation of Stana formed. And then over the next couple of years, it was germinating in the background. And we started meeting about Stana in 2020, really similar time frame to when COVID-19 hit, which was just interesting and coincidental timing. Now I'm employed part-time with Stana to lead a PCORI project. And I left my full-time career in higher education back in January 2022 to be able to pursue running a nonprofit. So working with Stana part-time and then volunteering time as well, because I feel like it's so important and valuable. So long story short, all of that to say that becoming an anosmic definitely shaped my life and where I am today because my career was in higher education admissions. And then I decided like that's not what I wanted to do anymore. And now I'm working in the nonprofit space.